Hey everybody, welcome to the MCU, that is Nerd Culture Undisputed. I am Kyle Wright, and the Phase 4 of the MCU has left us with many more questions than answers. So many questions that we're going to start trying to answer them ourselves and trying to pitch a little bit of some theories here. So I couldn't do it alone, so I had to bring on Mr. Adam Goff. Adam, thank you, as always, for being a part of this.
Oh, man, I'm excited to be here. I think this is a topic everybody can not only they question themselves about this, but it's one of those things that it's percolating out there, and it's like, the anticipation is really, really high. So I think we're right on point here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have 5 questions here that we're going to pitch back and forth. We're going to ask each other, and I mean, some pretty crazy theories could come out of this. And I think the best part about it is we could have all these answers in the next 2 years.
Right. And I mean, with the list of movies and TV shows and previous TV shows that are out there, with fans just clamoring for more. I feel like in the next 2 years we're going to see kind of a similar situation we had to Endgame, honestly. Yeah. So it's awesome. I can't wait to see what the MCU has in store for us, and let's get down to talking about some of these things.
Let's do it. So the first question is, Secret Invasion looks like it got pushed to 2023, but as you know, in the comic runs, it is who can you trust? Like, who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull? So let's pitch, like, who could be a Skrull at this point? Because we know that War Skrulls can mimic powers and appearance.
Mm-hmm. Which we've not seen yet.
Which we have not seen.
In the MCU, anyways.
In the MCU, right. So, who do you think? You have any crazy theories? Because I've got one that I'm going to bounce off you that I don't know about. It's just something. Here, I'll just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, have at it, man. Fire away.
All right, so I've been obviously one of the biggest questions of the MCU right now is, what are we gonna do about Chadwick Boseman?
Right.
So you don't have to recast T'Challa if we find out the whole time he has been a Skrull.
Okay.
And I don't know what that does for the character. I don't know.
So where's the real T'Challa then?
Right. So that would be the biggest question on how they handle that. There are people that make a lot more money than me that come up with those answers. But I can imagine that they could just say he's working off-world. Like, and he's been keeping an eye on Wakanda through a Skrull. And, like, you could start...
As long as he's not Star-Lord, I'm okay with it.
Right. Yeah. I actually like that episode of What If.
It's okay.
No, you didn't like it?
It's okay.
I would say that was one of my favorite ones.
Dude, I'm a big Chris Pratt guy. I mean, that's his role. So,
yeah.
It was like,
But, I mean, that's just kind of something I thought about. Because the biggest argument between Marvel fans right now is, do you recast T'Challa? Do you recast T'Challa? Which I think they should. Because the Black Panther character has so much more of a story to be told, and I feel like Chadwick would want it recasted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I want them to recast it, and not only because of the story that hasn't been told, but we saw an entire generation and new demographic come into the MCU, and the fandom reached just new heights. I mean, it was up for an Oscar, right? It is the only MCU movie that has been up for an Oscar, and there's a reason for that. And Chadwick Boseman was a large part of that, granted, but to not have a Black Panther moving forward, I think does a disservice to Chadwick Boseman,
absolutely,
to the Black Panther mantra, and the rest of the MCU. Now, could they possibly do a, completely CGI'd, Chadwick Boseman in there? Probably. What's the cost? I don't know. But it's, as far as a Skrull, though, I don't know, because the Skrulls copy, down to the DNA.
Right.
So if they're going to bring back the Black Panther, wouldn't he look just like Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah, and I would imagine that they could do it, maybe reveal it, now if Secret Invasion's next year. Oh, it's perfect. Because Secret Invasion comes out after the Wakanda Forever movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine you're gonna have to CGI him for this movie.
Yeah.
And then like post-credit scene or something, he reveals to be a Skrull the whole time and gives his mantra of Black Panther to maybe Shuri. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna give Letitia Wright that title at this point, just because of everything that's going on behind the scenes with that production, which is just a complete shit show. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's something that I thought about. Like maybe this is how you get around having to recast him. Like if you're not going to, like now you don't necessarily have to, and you just give the Black Panther mantra to somebody else. Maybe they bring back Killmonger in some form.
Maybe Killmonger was a Skrull, and they've got him, and then you can bring Michael B. Jordan, which I think everybody would be happy with.
I thought he killed that role.
Oh, it was fantastic. He's one of my favorite villains in the MCU.
He was incredible.
As far as the people that are Skrulls now, obviously we know Maria Hill, Nick Fury, Far From Home. They were revealed to be Skrulls. We don't know where they're going. I have a feeling that they're setting up SWORD, which is like the sister
of S.H.I.E.L.D., right.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, we saw a little bit of that in WandaVision.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we want to see, the cosmic side of the MCU. We've gotten glimpses, obviously, with Guardians and whatnot, but and Nick Fury has to have some kind of role, right? Some kind of leadership role.
Right.
I mean, you saw him at the end of Ultron. It looked like he was petting, little baby kittens when he was bringing the helicarrier back up there to Sokovia. So, he wants that role. I think he needs that role. And so it would, but then what do they do? I think Nick Fury and Maria Hill are probably an integral part of Secret Invasion in, possibly bringing in Skrulls, and who they mimic and what positions they hold so that they can, retain some kind of power. And maybe does that turn them into an anti-hero? I don't know. I mean, I would like to see, some of the things that maybe we haven't liked in the MCU, like certain characters and things that they've done. Maybe we can turn them into Skrulls, and then after Secret Invasion, they're gone, and we can do away with them. And there's a reason that they're gone.
Right.
They're not just written out.
The entire Eternals.
Well, no, I mean, they're going to play a large role in the MCU.
They're very important.
I think they are. I mean, they're setting up a cosmic battle right now between Celestials and themselves, and I think it's going to weigh pretty heavily on the adversaries for Kang moving forward.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I'm anxious to see what they do. I don't think it's going to be them, but I mean, there's characters out there that the general public hasn't really cared for, and maybe they're Skrulls, and maybe that's how we get rid of them.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see them going into, we're going to make Captain Marvel or Spider-Man or things like that. We're going to make them Skrulls just because, like with Captain Marvel, the Skrulls had nothing, right? They were searching for a home, and they were fighting against the Kree, and they've been doing it for generations. Well, I mean, if they can all mimic, their powers or whatever, just give me 1,000 Captain Marvels and go in there and take down Xandar and take down the Kree Empire and all that other stuff, and then go from there.
Right.
But I don't think that does anything for the MCU. So it's going to be interesting because the Skrulls, for all intents and purposes, after Captain Marvel, are good guys, right?
Right.
But is it like every other population out there? There's a bad side of them too, and that's where I'm at. Is where does that bad side of the Skrulls going to do to the MCU, and are they the ones that are going to take over people with powers?
It's endless possibilities, man. I mean, that's the thing about the Secret Invasion comic run. Sorry, guys, I've been up since about 6 o'clock this morning.
That's early for you.
Yeah, it's very early for me. I'll tell you about it when we get off the air.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like, woke up this morning, went outside. There's I think there were 7 cop cars at our neighbor's house, and 2 fire trucks and ambulances, and
Jeez, hope everybody's okay.
yeah, I mean, they didn't leave with anybody. They They didn't leave with anything.
Okay.
I don't know what it was, but that's why
Maybe there were scrolls.
Yeah, maybe they were scrolls. Some bitches. But I don't like you said. I can't imagine it'll be any major characters. I do like major supporting characters though, like Sharon Carter, maybe like an evil scroll. Like maybe she's not actually the power broker, which we have a question about her here in a little bit. But maybe she's revealed to be a scroll. Maybe Val's a scroll. Maybe Hank Pym. Hank Pym was one of the big reveals in the comic run, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. Something to think about at least.
Yeah.
So let's get into the next question. You want that one?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
Let me get pulled up here. Do you think Steve Rogers is dead? If not, when will we see him again, if we do?
So I think you and I talked a little bit about this. In my opinion, it's kind of like Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man at this point. Like there's really nothing left for that character at this point. I mean, we've already established our new Captain America. We've gone through like all the heartache and everything that Sam's going through trying to become the new Cap and taking on that mantle. So I think for him to return in the MCU as Steve Rogers or as Captain America Steve Rogers, then it would be a waste. So no, I don't think he's dead, but no, I don't think we'll see him again. However, we see Chris Evans again. I'll let you go there.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think those character arcs are complete, right, between Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Chris Evans' Steve Rogers. So I think you're right on that. Now, as far as Chris Evans goes, I mean, there's rumors and speculation out there that he's going to reprise his role as Human Torch in the Multiverse of Madness.
Wouldn't that be something?
Which if that happens, then you're going to have Ian Gruffeld come back as Mr. Fantastic, and do we see Jessica Alba in the MCU? I mean, who doesn't want that?
You're right.
But
never going to complain about
right.
that.
So I mean, that's one iteration of the Fantastic Four. I mean, we saw the success that No Way Home had with bringing in these different universes. So I think it's definitely a possibility that we see Chris Evans back, but I don't think we see Cap back. Like I said, his story arc is complete. They never really came out and said it, but he had his day with Peggy, which is throughout the entire MCU. That's all he ever wanted.
Yep.
He wanted his shot. He wanted his dance, if you will.
Dance, yeah.
And at the end of it, you saw a ring on his finger, and he was happy. He passed on the shield, the torch, whatever you want to call it, and he's moved on. So I don't think we see Steve Rogers back in the MCU. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody gets all up in their feels when he lifted Mjolnir in Endgame. But
it was incredible,
right? But is there a better way to go out than that?
Not for his character,
right?
Right.
So I think we're done with the Steve Rogers Captain America. Do we see him as an older version of himself after all of this is said and done? Maybe, but that would put him at like 170 years old probably.
I mean, it's possible, right? Because, I mean, we're assuming he still took the serum, which doesn't – I mean, there's a lot of disconnects there. Like, because if he took the serum, which he did, I mean, we saw that at the end of Endgame. Like, he's still big. Like, he's not little Steve. So he still has the serum. I didn't think they were supposed to age like that as much as he did. I get it that he's pretty old at this point, but it's still
right.
kind of
But
funky.
I mean, if that movie is taking place in 2018,
2023, I believe, is Endgame, right?
It was 5 years after, right? So 2023. So then you go back another 1940s. You go back another 80 years. So put another 80 years on a 100-year-old Cap. He's 180 years old.
That's fair,
right? So it didn't look too bad for 180 years old.
No,
he didn't look like a crypt keeper. So
I think maybe he could be working, like, if we do see him again in the MCU, maybe he's working on the new sword base with Fury, like working directly with him.
And that's like an advisor, maybe.
Yeah, like that's why he was telling him he's on the moon and everything like that.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
New moon base.
I guess I could see that.
All right. So next question. Obviously, Falcon Winter Soldier. We get the reveal that Sharon Carter is the power broker. Who could she be working with?
I think Val is a distinct possibility. We've seen Val in the Disney Plus series, and she's collecting talent. What is she collecting talent for? There's different theories out there. My theory is that she's getting together the Thunderbolts.
Well, it's like talent. I don't know at this point because we saw Yelena. We've already seen that story arc, right? Like she hired Yelena to kill Clint, and I mean, obviously, if you haven't seen Hawkeye, you should go watch it.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I mean, but it's been out.
Right.
The finale's been out for over a month. I give everybody 2 weeks before you're like, if you're an enthusiast, you're gonna see it in 2 weeks. Right. Phone calls busting in, interrupting our conversation.
Sorry,
assholes. Hope I don't get you fired calling them.
No, it was actually the wife.
Even worse, fired would be good news. If you need to take it, I'll carry on my theory for a second. Just mute your mic. So, I mean, I'm thinking Thunderbolt Initiative. I'm definitely thinking Thunderbolt Ross is going to have something to do with this. I'm thinking we're going to get a Red Hulk storyline.
Yeah.
Which we could see that play out in She-Hulk because we know She-Hulk is supposed to be coming in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
We could see that play out. Who knows, man? I just don't know about the whole. I don't know who else they have at this point because right now the only Thunderbolt that we are aware of to this point now is John Walker, and then you got a question mark on Yelena. Like, is she still going to work for Val now that she's
on the other side?
Right, now that she's kind of been convinced to be on the other side.
But I mean, you've still got you've got John Walker. I mean, we've seen John Barenthal's Punisher. He's a big part of that, and then you've got General Ross, who, as much as he doesn't want to admit it, he is super jealous of Bruce Banner being the Hulk, and I think he wants that power. He's, and the Red Hulk is ominous, and General Ross is kind of ominous,
right?
So, I think there's a connection between Sharon Carter and Val, and I look forward to seeing where that connection happened, and why it's happening, and where she's going to go with this, because the Sharon Carter that we left in Winter Soldier is a completely different one than what we're seeing right now. So, the Shield dismantling really kind of put a damper on things for her.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think we're going to see a Thunderbolts version, and of course, this next question, I think is going to play a large role in that as well.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it then. I think that's a good segue right there because you're right.
So, when and how will the Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and the X-Men join the MCU?
I think on May 1st, 2022.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it's May 1st, right? Is it the 5th?
I think it's my birthday. I think it's May 6th.
May 6th.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's right.
Or was that Thor? But then Thor got pushed
Thor's
back.
In July, I think
Thor
now.
was supposed to be May, but it got pushed back. So it's somewhere around in there.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think they're coming in. I don't know how this will happen, right? I mean, because obviously this movie is supposed to have so much. We're rumored to have a 3-hour runtime at this point, which is fucking insane. But the Fantastic Four, I'll start on them. I think we get the old version, a very short cameo from the old version, and then I think in a post-credit scene we get our new Fantastic Four, which
Crossing fingers.
John Krasinski,
Emily Blunt, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know who you could have Human Torch. We've talked about like Zac Efron would be a great casting for Human Torch.
I think what you and I've talked about before is that those quote unquote supporting roles.
Yeah.
I think they can go probably a lower key actor and make that character really pop. So
I mean, you could get Timothée Chalamet at this point. He's not super high build yet, but he's going to be after the Dune series is over. He's going to be a big actor after that, and he is growing. I don't mean to like say what I mean. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. So the Fantastic Four, I do think we'll get. I do not think we'll get Deadpool at all in Multiverse of Madness.
I don't see that.
I think he's gonna have a better intro than a cameo.
Right.
His intro into the MCU is gonna be huge. He's gonna get his own movie, and they're gonna break the fourth wall, and that's what makes Deadpool so great. Is he'll come in without an explanation, and nobody will question shit because he'll just make fun of it. The whole
it may
movie.
not be a cameo, but I could see it as a post credit scene and him just talking to us and saying, I'm here.
What I want, I was telling my buddy Scott about this the other day. I want him to get the first motherfucker from Samuel L. Jackson, and for him to hit the screen, like look at the screen and go, "Wow, you didn't think I was going to get the first one, did you?" Or something like that. Like, because that's like his, that I don't know that.
It's the one that says "bad motherfucker" on it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I mean, maybe, and the X-Men. This is the biggest question, right? Like, this is it, because anybody who knows Marvel knows that, like, the X-Men are the most important characters when it comes to just about everything Marvel.
Yeah, they're involved in
everything,
damn near everything.
Right. So, I mean, especially like Wolverine. I mean, he's got storylines with Hulk. He's got storylines with Spider-Man. He's got storylines with Captain America. Like, this is big. So, I don't know about the X-Men. I do think we'll get some cameos of some sort in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how do these cameos become canon, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do they get into our universe? Or is there one universe now?
Well, I don't think there's necessarily one universe, because I think when Doctor Strange closed that mess up in New York in No Way Home, but, I mean, we've seen Wanda have her powers used to create entire worlds. Right, create life.
Yeah.
So, Doctor Strange has obviously manipulated the multiverse before. We've seen Wanda create things, and I think with those two together, I think we can have more of a permanent situation with some of these timelines and universes colliding.
Right.
Right. So, and Wanda is such a huge part of the X-Men universe as well, being the daughter of Magneto. And
yeah, see, that's a storyline that we haven't been able to explore.
Right, because of the contradicting companies.
Right.
Right. And we saw a little bit of that in WandaVision with them bringing in, the different Quicksilver as her brother, right? Evan Peters. So, but how do they tie in, Magneto and Wolverine and all these other mutants? I think is going to be crucial to setting up the next phase, and I think that's probably what we're going to see in Phase 5 is going to be, okay, here's the mutant phase, here's what's going on, here's what they're doing in our universe, and the only thing that I question is the power levels, right? Because so far the most powerful superheroes we've seen are what? Captain Marvel. I mean, you can say Thanos was one of the more powerful ones just because of his Titan background. And then Thor, but I mean, you got to think about some of the mutants that are, these level 5 mutants like Jean Grey.
Right.
Then you go to Charles Xavier, and then you go to Eric Lenscher. You've got all these just hugely powerful mutants that are out there that are going to really change the power dynamic in the MCU.
I would love the Phoenix to be done right.
Yeah, it's been botched twice.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge, important story arc. The only one I think they got right was Days of Futures Past. I loved that movie. I thought it was very, very well done. It's fantastic. But, which Wolverine do we get? Do we get Hugh Jackman? Do we get a younger one with, I think Taron Egerton has been talked about and discussed. So there's just so many different possibilities. I'm here for all of it. And I don't think that they'll do us wrong with it. But the mutants are going to play a huge role moving forward. And I think what we might see is the mutants play a large role in Secret Invasion, because maybe there's some genetic anomaly that the Skrulls can't copy.
Yeah.
So that's how we know who's a Skrull and who isn't, because we're going to send in the X-Men to go after him.
Oh, shit. That would be sick.
You know what I mean? Like, how great would that be?
That'd be awesome.
Right.
I mean, and it's obviously going to be a big show because they've got Samuel L. freaking Jackson doing a series.
Right.
Like, that's big. So we know there's going to be a lot of big important things in Secret Invasion and Multiverse of Madness. We've got a lot more Multiverse of Madness videos between us two, like in the next couple months.
Right.
Building up like a bunch of theory videos, a bunch of everything to pitch back and forth.
There's just so many different directions they can go.
There really is. What I would like to do is maybe
Can you imagine being a fly on the wall in that production meeting?
My God. I just want to see, like, we've heard rumors of Tom Cruise. We've heard, like, as Tony Stark. We've heard rumors, I mean, all the way down to, I mean, the old Fantastic Four. We've heard rumors of Steve Rogers, Chris Evans being not only Human Torch, but, like, Captain Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows at this point?
Yeah.
Who knows? Could get all kinds of crazy shit.
I know.
We'll do a separate video on that here soon.
All right.
And
Sounds
we'll go
good.
through like all the like speculated cameos. Tobey Maguire has been speculated to be in this as well.
Yeah. Just stay tuned.
Yeah. Keep an eye on the channel. All right. Last question. MCU's next big crossover event. Where do you think we're heading? I mean, because you mentioned a little bit of the Thunderbolts earlier, but does that really give a spot for like the Eternals?
Well, House of M was a big story arc in the comics, which ties in the mutants and it ties in the MCU. That could be one direction that they could possibly go. But, I think with them setting up Kang as the big bad, I think the next crossover is going to be in Avengers here in a couple years, that we're going to see, the Eternals no longer fighting the Celestials and fighting with them and bringing them on board to fight Kang, because he is going to be the next big bad.
That's how serious Kang is.
Right. I mean, if you remember back to, you and I discussed this, I think last week, not on air, but the Infinity Gauntlet's, 6-part miniseries. Thanos had all the stones, and Galactus and all the other Celestials and Adam Warlock, and they were all going after Thanos, right?
Right.
And he was just dismissing them with ease because of his power with the gauntlet and the stones. And we didn't get to see that in this Thanos battle, right? Because Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet series wanted to end all life.
Right.
He was trying to prove his love for death, which, so in the MCU, he wanted to just eradicate 50% of life so that in his mind, life could flourish again. And there wasn't any more starvation or hunger or poverty, things of that nature.
Every day I get on Facebook, I'm more and more like, this dude had a point.
It's a sad kind of statement and outlook, but I can see some of it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But so we didn't get that big build up in the MCU. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Endgame, trust me, but like we didn't get to see that big build up that we saw in that Infinity Gauntlet series, and I think this could be their way of bringing that to the big screen.
I agree with that. I think we're heading towards, at least until we get that big Kang moment. I think it's going to be a lot like Thanos, where you're not going to get, like, the first two Avengers movies were not. Thanos was the big bad all along, right? He was the man behind the curtain, and they didn't face him until Infinity War. But you had those two movies beforehand where it was like the first team-up movie, and then Age of Ultron, and then that's when everything started to hit the fan. So I think we're going to get something like that, and I think we're going to have the Avengers on Earth, which is going to be like your ground-level Avengers. So you're talking about your guys like all the way from New Cap, Sam Wilson, to maybe the introduction of the X-Men and Doctor Strange. Like all of them, right? That's going to be your first bundle, and they're going to be going against some ground-level threat. Probably the Thunderbolts. Probably against the Thunderbolts.
Right.
Or the Dark Avengers, however they choose
you want
to approach that.
it,
I'm having a leg cramp, by the way. That's why
I was wondering what was going on. I was there. I was like, you okay over there?
Every time I bend my leg back, it starts back up. It's one of those. So here I am sitting to the side.
Gotcha.
And then I think we'll get a Galactic Avengers movie. Like that'll be an Avengers titled movie, but they won't call themselves the Avengers. And that'll be your Guardians of the Galaxy with Thor. And then they'll also have the Eternals involved in that. And
Adam Warlock, more than likely.
Adam Warlock will be involved in that. I'd imagine he's going to be coming out of Guardians 3 as a protagonist.
I think he'll start off as the antagonist. Yeah. Right, but I'm with you. At the end of the day, he's going to end up being probably right up there with Strange in terms of leadership on this next new group of heroes that we're going to follow.
He's been cooking in that cocoon for 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's in our time. Like,
Yeah.
So in the MCU, like 10 years.
When did Guardians 2 come out? Because that's when we first saw.
2016 maybe. So
6 years.
like MCU wise, like about 8 years in that cocoon at this point.
Yeah.
Because they're in 2024, 2023.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll catch up with them.
Yep.
Maybe
but
we'll
I love the casting of Adam Warlock, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great, and so it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, and just every single movie leaves you wanting more, right? And that's where we're at, and I think the big bad is going to be Kang, and is Loki going to be coming back into the MCU?
See, that's a big question that we'll do a part 2 of
Okay.
this here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's another big question, right?
Because his knowledge alone of, the universes and the timelines with his, experiences, just from the Loki show is I think it's going to be extremely valuable.
I mean, you have to imagine that we're gonna see, because there's no update right now on a Loki season 2, but you have to imagine, like, with Kang breaking the multiverse like that, or breaking the universe like at the end of Loki when Sylvie stabbed him, like, you have to imagine we're gonna get a Loki appearance before season 2, and we've seen maybe what looks like a TVA door there in the promo, in the trailer for,
and supposedly Scarlet Witch was in it, I think.
Yeah, so maybe
like that.
Maybe they come and fuck with her for, like, I don't know, for Westview. Maybe that's not part of the storyline, or that's not part of the timeline. Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like Loki left us with that kind of man. I'm trying to, like, the end of Loki was like, now none of them know who he is. So does he have the capabilities to just open time doors and get where he wants to go?
Well, I mean, the technology's there at his fingertips.
Yeah.
So
maybe he's looking for his brother.
Yeah, it could be. And then, another thing I just thought about, I'm not trying to go off the rails here, but like in Wakanda Forever, could we see White Vision making an appearance and then redoing his makeup, and that's how we get Vision back? And then maybe that's how. Dude, sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole.
I know. Why? I mean, there's way more questions.
We get White Vision coming back into Multiverse of Madness, and Scarlet Witch starts off as the antagonist, and then White Vision comes back and then gets molded and turned back into Vision and brings her back to reality. Mind blown. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's
just thought about that.
There's so many different possibilities, man. This movie's gonna be huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
This movie's going to be crazy.
Right. All set up thanks to No Way Home, I think.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, well, which really is set up thanks to Loki, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that showed us, like, the first time, like, multiple universes exist. Here they are.
Right.
They're no longer, they're no longer multiple universes.
Let's do the damn thing.
Just do it. Just do the damn thing. Well, all right, guys, we are going to get out of here. So many more videos coming. So much more great content. Once again, Adam, thank you for joining me as every week.
I enjoyed it as always, man. Appreciate you.
We have a lot more content coming, guys, so make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Stay tuned later tonight for the Right On Sports Show. You can find all that here on YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Later.